Hey everyone, welcome back for another episode of and this is episode 28, I believe. So up to episode 28. It's with Todd again. And this time we talked about things that make us feel good. We went through different movies, different songs, books, activities that make us basically make us feel good in the moment. We can show up and be the best version of ourselves. Kind of wanky saying. What do you guys think about that?
That question.
Yeah.
That stuff that makes you feel tools around you. When we're outside.
It is. It's why we're outside. Because being outside makes us feel good, doesn't it?
If you want to break something in the house, go outside and break
Break a stick. Yeah. Better to break a stick outside than it is to break something inside, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
What's up there?
Nothing.
All right, you want to say goodbye? Bye. Welcome back to I Would Like to Have a Conversation. I actually think when I did this last time, it cut off because I jump in too quick. When it goes, did it? I think we're on episode 28, which is pretty cool. Wow. I want to say thank you to you for coming on every week and juggling it around your patients and stuff, which is really cool. And we just had a really good conversation before. So what we wanted to do is sort of bring that into this. We're going to do something to be random where we want to talk about things that make us feel. And then what you said before also triggered something that I was talking to someone else about. I literally did a post today about a guy that's just come in to Build for Adventure around that his goal is I just want to feel good. So I think it'd be cool if we went backwards and forwards where you can go first and tell me a thing that makes you feel good. Because I think, and then I'll go, I'll have my turn. But I think it's a cool concept. People might get ideas for it. But it's kind of like if we've got one job that we need to do every day, it's just to feel good. So then we can show up with the best version of whatever that is for us, which always sounds wanky as shit when it comes out of my mouth. The best version of you. But it is kind of true.
I'd take out the kind of. It is true. Like it's absolutely true. And people fight this idea that it's like somehow selfish, but why do you not want to enjoy life? You know?
Yeah, it's kind of weird.
Yeah. It's funny that actually, the full thought isn't there, but I had another thought that you triggered with that. So I'll hold on to that for a second, but I find this to be really interesting as well, because I'm building out my chronic pain course. That it's not really a course. It's actually what I'm going to be slowly dripping like 2 emails a week to the new patients that come in the office. And I've been looking at all the things that I'm writing down, and this is perfect because I'll just share everything that's on the list as long as it doesn't coincide with because basically what I've done, and so people can have some context on what I'm going to share, is because I work with chronic pain people, this course or these emails that I'm going to be dripping out to new patients, the idea behind it is to help them, get out of chronic pain. But what I've found is the same stuff that helped me get out of chronic pain and that I'm going to be sharing with other people are the same things that when I have really great days, I'm doing consistently on those days. So, yeah.
That's cool. All right, you go first. What's your first thing that makes you feel good?
So
the state of feeling good?
Yeah. So honestly, to get my body going and get my metabolism fired up in the morning, I have a combination of lemon water and the AG1 greens or A1G, whatever that's called. So might seem really boring, but I think once you start to implement these things, and then when you forget to do them or take them away, you realize like the impact that it has. And one of the things I wanted to share with people is, I've, 8 years of trial and error of all these things. And what I've noticed is, maybe the question that people will have, because this is the question I had coming in, was, well, how can a glass of lemon water and these, A1G, again, I forget what they're called. I have a pack around here.
Athletic Greens or whatever.
Yeah, they're rebranded, but the Athletic Greens, how can this like somehow, positively impact your day or change your state or whatever it is. And I think it's a number of things. One is when you build those habits and behaviors, um, by keeping them, you're staying true to yourself because you know that they make you feel good, or help you feel good. But two, I would just offer there's most people are only going to understand this if they try it. And so what I would, suggest to people is if you don't think or you wonder if they will have an impact on your life, implement them for the next 2 weeks and then take it away and watch how your mood, watch your energy levels, watch how you show up for your kids. All of that will be different. And that's why, like, even those subtle things I just shared are really important to me because if I don't start the day that way, well, the third thing I'll add, if I don't start the day with some of these things, I don't realize sometimes how much guilt and shame actually slips in because I'm not being the person that I say I'm going to be.
Mm. This leads into my one, which is mine's thing at the moment is the every morning, daily intentions and daily wins. So I send it to all my one-on-one guys at the moment, or one-on-one people. I've got a few ladies as well who I'm mentoring. And I send them a message and it goes as like a flow. So usually the day before I've done the same thing. So every morning I send through the wins from the day before. And it's like, it's just a list. And I go through the 3 story arcs: build for adventure, be the man, and perfect average day. So health, relationships, career, or prosperity. And I usually have 3 or 4, maybe 5 things in each one. So these are things I want to tick off today. And then I copy and paste it the next day in the morning. So with a green tick or a red cross. And I just send it through. So it's usually like a daily wins is first, and immediately straight afterwards, I set my intentions for the day. So every morning I'm setting up 4 or 6 sets. So I can see what I fell off on the day before and I can pull it into the day, all that kind of stuff. So never miss 2. But I was told to do this ages ago and never really did it. I was like, I was like, well, I'll just start doing it with everybody. I'll do it because they want to see what I'm doing and I want to see what they're doing. I'll just do it every day and see what happens. And holy shit, like my mood is just like, it's not sky high, but I generally just feel good most of the time because I'm always doing the things that I'm saying I'm doing and collecting proof that I'm showing up as the person I want to show up as. And it starts that day with that proof every day. I was doing the wins the night before and then sending the intentions in the morning, but I found it works so much better that I woke up and just counted the wins I did and then set my intentions for the day. And my goal is just to be a net positive on the wins. So more ticks than crosses. So if I have a rough day and there's lots of crosses, I always just try and shoot for. So that's my first one. That's been like super powerful for me. And seeing the people I work with one-on-one doing the same thing and seeing them just go from like lots of red crosses to just slowly phasing them out and getting more green ticks and just seeing their responses and stuff, it means they're just starting to feel good. So that would be my first thing. That was pretty cool. What's your next one?
Trying to figure out think because as I sit there, I usually go through like a floor routine, not, this beautiful dancing, gymnastic floor routine.
But could be.
Could be. Yes. It's it's basically all the GOTA stuff. So one of the phases of GOTA, and it's the first, and you don't really ever get rid of the floor or groundwork is what we call it. I'll just do a subtle movement practice so I can just start to be in my body and I try to feel where there's sticky points. I try to feel where they're stuck. And again, if you into the energy aspect of it, sometimes I can tell like, where energy is stuck. I can, but also just from a physical standpoint, do I need to wake up my hips? Do I need to wake up my hamstrings? So it's a combination of like decompressing my body, and also like activating it at the same time, but subtly. So I'm not spiking everything into, spiking my, all the stress, because I'm exposed to enough of that throughout the day. So I will get down, and just start to play around with, the movement patterns that I feel are, important. But it's less of the movements themselves, and it's more about just enjoying the practice and enjoying being with myself as I, just kind of scan my body and see where I might have either sticking points or stuff that I can work on. So,
That was so many things. And my next one, I would say, has been a big needle mover for me in the last 4 or 5 weeks. It's just hunting the 10,000 steps every day and going for a walk. And typically, I have to do a pretty powerful power walk for an hour to squeeze it in to get to that 10,000 steps. And I'm loving it. When I get a day where it's going to be hard to fit it in, it's kind of like the addictive thing. I'm sort of like, oh, what am I going to do? Like I've even done it where I've had the kids that had to be home. One of them was sick. I didn't want to leave them at home by themselves. So I just did it on the treadmill on the incline and walked for an hour. So yeah. And I can see like my daily wins, my daily just score to see how I'm traveling. When I started focusing on getting the 10,000 steps, which is always there, but I didn't start counting it as a focus, like a daily win. But yeah, my mood scores just started trending up, which is pretty cool. So that was my next one. Like a super low hanging fruit. But yeah, hitting those 10K steps and ticking it off at the end of the day is pretty cool. What's your next one?
it's like sunlight and breath work. I love it's getting cold out here now, but just getting outside, getting the fresh air and making sure I get some sun. I think if anybody's ever listened to the Huberman podcast, he'll it's quite obvious why the sun is, we don't need to go into the other the other areas that some people attempt to.
Was it? Is he still around? Ben Greenfield? So anyone's listening, Ben Greenfield has a podcast. And he used to get a UV light and just to shine it on basically his balls every morning to help with testosterone. He's like the biggest, like everything he does is the wildest biohacking.
Yeah.
I used to listen to a podcast and be like, what is he testing there now? I haven't listened to his podcast in a long time, but it was pretty funny when that came out.
Yeah. Yeah. So
Yeah.
no, that's
Sun is good.
the biggest thing.
Oh, he's frozen.
Because I'm a big. I'm sorry.
I'll go my next one. See if he comes back. The Imagination Theatre, which is something BG taught. And it's a bit of a catch-all, but basically like doing something, it's kind of like meditation, but you're doing something to pull you into how you want to feel when you succeed at whatever the goal is you're going after. So this is probably my favorite part of the day. It could be in music. Like I listened to this one song. It's been like years I've been using this for Imagination Theatre. It's Theory of an Underdog by 12 Stones. And I use that to prime myself into workout mode. And then for running, I might listen to or sort of watch the scene, which sounds really weird. Well, it's not that weird. Secret Life of Walter Mitty, when he's street skating and skateboarding down the street in Iceland. And that scene alone is that whole movie is a banging movie for itself. Like, it just makes me feel good. So that's another one, that movie, which I'm going to bring up movies later. So I watch that scene on YouTube because it just makes me feel good. I'm like, yeah, I want to get out and do a run. And then the one from Inception. Yes, Inception. When he's like, is it Inception? Yeah, when he comes home to his kids, he's finally like, they've gone through the whole movie, they've done the whole diving into people's minds and stuff. And if he makes it work, he gets to go home. And that music that Hans Zimmer plays as he comes off the plane, goes through the airport really slowly and goes back to see his kids for the first time in years. I use that, which sounds kind of bizarre, to have that, like, just increased, I know, the love for my kids. Like, this is why I'm doing all the shit I'm doing. It's like a reminder. And I use that because it pulls that emotion out of me. And I sort of just plant my kids into that sort of scene. So those three kind of things are like what sets me up into a different areas of life that I want to show up as. And if for like perfect average day or prosperity, the Pursuit of Happiness is that I sort of watch that movie every now and then, or just the scene of him coming out when he's clapping in the street.
Yeah.
I watch that scene a lot to sort of get that feel good vibes for whatever I'm doing for career stuff. So yeah, imagination theater, which is basically just finding things that make you feel the emotion you want to feel when you succeed at the thing, because it gets you excited to want to succeed at the thing.
Question.
What's your next one? Yes.
Do you know what Hans Zimmer song that is?
Let's say
I actually have a song of his that is one of my favorites. So
which one's your one? This is the one from Interstellar.
I don't. So I've never seen Interstellar or Inception yet.
Oh my!
I know.
You will lose your mind.
But the
Time.
What's that?
Time.
Time.
The time. Yeah.
So I would recommend listening to Says.
Says.
Yeah. SAYS.
To be fair, I think for anyone listening, if you listen to Hans Zimmer at all, you're going to feel good. Like I even listen to the Batman soundtracks and stuff, and they're like kind of aggressive, but it still makes. They're just good. It's such a good soundtrack.
Wait a minute.
Oh,
I might be thinking of someone else. Hold on. Never mind. Wrong. It's a Hans though. That's why.
Hans.
Don't worry about me. But it is a song I can forward because it's a fantastic song. But anyways.
Yeah, I said it too. What's your next one?
What are we on? Like 4 or 5?
I think so. Yeah. I don't know. We're just gonna keep going till we run out of ideas.
Yeah. The next one would be just flat out working out. I realized that.
Yeah. I'll double down on that one. You go first.
Yeah. I don't right now. I'm more like building strength, all that. Like it's great, but for me, it's more just if I don't do that, there is so much energy that gets built up, and then that spills over into my life. So that's like the negative impact of me not doing it. And then when I am doing it, like I said, I when I come home, there's enough energy that's been put out into the world that it doesn't, this doesn't build up and spill over into anybody else in my life. So when I'm not working out is when I notice it's kind of like the same thing as I said before. You notice these things more so when you stop doing them, you don't realize the positive impact that they have. And yeah, I'll leave it at that.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Training, exercising, working out, almost like it's I don't know the word. It's how people would literally identify me as, what people know me for, and then like when we catch up, do go to catch ups and stuff, everyone will say like, "Is you going to work around your workout?" Which sounds really bizarre, but it's literally what I'm known for. It's what I do. And people ask me why I don't go get a normal job, like because I want to look after the kids and be able to train, and then do everything else around that. And yeah, training for me, and I had to manage it a lot because training for me used to be like slogging myself to get out of an endorphin rush and the adrenaline rush, but now it's just showing up and doing the work and coming back again the next day, which is really cool. And then now as the kids are getting older, it's starting, one of the workouts I'm doing the most is going for a run Saturday or Sunday morning with Kat. We got up to like 7, I think we got to 8Ks on the weekend. We're building it up her to a 21K. Just to a 21K. But that's been super cool because we haven't been able to train together, which most parents would understand from when the kids were born. And we used to train together all the time. And I used to train her because I had a gym and she would come, I would train her in the gym. And we weren't able to do that for ages. So now we're able to start doing. So yeah, workouts for sure. This is a fermented food. This is an interesting one for me. I started doing it because I was like, I'm sick of just having like half bags of salad and stuff in the fridge and having to throw stuff out. And Kat's like, why don't you just get fermented food? I was like, oh yeah. So I started with sauerkraut and I was smashing it. And then just basically the pickled veggies. Like we get jars of pickled veggies with cauliflower, capsicum, cucumber, all in the same jar. So I've got in the jar, I've got kimchi, sauerkraut, pickled veggies, pickles, and jalapenos. And I just get a big hoop of each one on my plate for my lunches every day. And since I started doing it, so too much info probably, I've always had some kind of like bowel issue, always, ever since I was a kid. And it'd be like a high five moment if I ever had like a solid stool. Always kind of been like that. I did a lot of stupid stuff when I was younger, like taking ibuprofen, anti-inflammatories, and pre-workouts on an empty stomach, playing soccer games, and just rotting my guts out. So I've always had some kind of issue going on, and we've been looking into it for ages. But anyway, doing the fermented veggies is clearing it up heaps, and has cleared it up heaps. And the other thing that has cleared it up heaps is dropping coffee. Funny enough. So yeah, but yeah, the fermented veggies, I've literally every lunch, I just pick different meats during the week, depending on whatever I feel like, and I just lather the plate with fermented veggies. This is so good, so easy.
Oh man, I just had a patient. A patient and a client. She has a German background, so family
Yeah,
background, and so we were talking about sauerkraut. 'Cause she was actually dealing with a little bit of stomach issue, and then in hindsight, she was like, "Guess what? It's gone because I stopped eating sugar and crap." And I was like, "Cool."
yeah.
Thinking that like she needed like all these tests and stuff like that. And she's like, "Yeah, it's gone." Anyways, when we were speaking about sauerkraut, and she and her husband ended up making me like a big thing of it. So
Yeah, nice.
yeah, I got to enjoy
So
like,
good. Kat makes it as well.
yeah.
Doesn't do it super often, where she does. It's so tasty. And
Yeah.
Kat's mum makes it, and every time we see her, she brings over jars, and it will be gone in like a month.
I love it.
I'll smash it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One
What's
of
your
my
next?
favorite things on earth is kimchi. So you don't have to convince
Yeah,
me.
that took me a while to try it. As soon as I tried it, like, what? Where have you been?
I will say Korean food in and of itself is fantastic, but
Yeah,
the
yeah.
kimchi is just, oh, I love it.
Yeah. It's like both of us just rolling around. I was like, oh, yes.
It's like, oh, wait a minute, I'm gonna go get some. I'm like eating it, like come back with it. So.
Yeah, you just come back and just hear us squelching through it. What's your next one?
Whew. I was thinking about this. 'Cause I'm trying to figure out like all the little different things, like even just come up with the kimchi, but oh man, I don't know. I'm stumped. Cause I'm trying to go through my day, cause then most of my day I'm here treating patients or taking care of admin stuff. Um, I'm trying to think of all like the little things that I think I kind of move towards like the end of the day. We'll go for walks in the middle of the day, but we had talked about that. Oh, excuse me. When I get to the end of the day, part of what helps me transition home is being able to just stop and take a few like well, I'm scanning my body again to
Mm.
see where things are, whether it's emotionally, physically. And so before I interact with my children, I want to make sure that I've washed kind of like the day off and that I'm not bringing anything to them. So I'll build in like a practice of whether I'm sitting in the parking lot waiting to pick them up or waiting for the bus, to get them off the bus. Like I will be grounding, I will be taking some deep breaths, and I'll be working through whatever I might be working through throughout the day. So that way, when we, interact, I'm not, unloading anything or bringing any kind of energy to them. So that personally is one of the biggest ones for me,
Mm.
because I feel like it's always been my mission, since I had Chase, is to show up in a drastically different way than like my father showed up for me. And um, it was really cool because over the weekend, when doing some of the deep healing work, I got feedback from somebody in my life, and it was really cool to get that feedback because I often
Mm.
I don't, I don't receive that a lot. Not because I'm resistant to it. I just like people aren't going, "Hey, because I often don't tell them about the internal struggles I have about being a dad and showing up in the way that I
Mm.
want to show up. And I had shared it in this, when doing this work. And then one of the women that were there, and she like literally turned to me afterwards and she was like, I just want to let you know that you do, have this beautiful balance of creating like strong, creating like good boundaries with your children when they're acting crazy and showing up in a very loving way. And it was cool to receive that. Be I just felt my body like just like let go of some things as well.
Mm.
So that's a big one for me, throughout the more towards the end of the day when they get home.
I like that. That's cool. And I that put one in my head too. School pick up and drop off, which was a massive power hay for me. But it was I did not like doing it for a long time. We put him on the bus and stuff like that, which turned out it would dysregulate Theo. And then it was like all the journaling and rewriting the story to it, which now is just like my favorite one, almost nearly my favorite time of the day. Like besides working out, the the doing like we have like the hero soundtrack for the kids. They had to pick 2 songs each on the way to school, and then it's 2 different songs on the way back. And it's just cool. I just like doing it. I like getting there. The school is like it's a very nice school. We're pretty lucky that the kids get to go there. It's like a farm property almost. They've got cows and sheep and goats and shit there.
Awesome.
A massive paddock park at the back. It's about about 800-meter walk through the back gate to get to the classroom, and I just wait there and we walk back out. So it's just cool. So it's a nice part of the day, especially now it's getting a bit warmer. It's pretty nice. But it's just weirdly, it's just, I like it now. I don't hate going, which I used to. I used to just not enjoy it at all. And it's like what you said, it gives me that disconnect. So I can get in do my stuff in the morning, get up and have a little breakfast with him, go to school. And then on the way back, I can flip back into whatever mode I've got to get into. Usually it's training mode. But going to pick him up when I usually have my tools down rule by 3 p.m. I'll go pick him up. And then the drive there, I'm switching just into dad mode and just disconnecting, listening to music or whatever, instead of listening to podcasts, getting a different vibe. But yeah. So those 2 times of the day, I don't regret them at all anymore. And they just make me feel good. I enjoy doing it. It's just a thing. It's about a 15, 20-minute drive each way every day, twice a day. It's a bit of a drive, but it's cool.
Not too bad.
Yeah.
That's interesting. I had a lot of resistance around picking the kids up and leaving the clinic and telling myself I'm losing money and people could book times
That was
there.
my
Yeah. And I've gotten over that really quickly. So that was nice.
yeah.
Yeah.
Got that.
So the next one for me is I kind of go through the timeline of the day. So after we get home, I don't know if I would consider that. I make it a point to go play with the kids, and outside. I think it just has so many added benefits, but I do it because I want them to see, an active father. I want them to know that their father is a big part of their life and that he's, willing to go do this stuff and able to. They have so much energy pent up from the day, mostly emotional energy. And I found that it allows for especially my oldest to kind of work through all of that. It's a nice transition for him. So, because if he were to come in and sit down and start with his iPad or the TV or something else, he's very dysregulated the rest of the day. And so when we have an opportunity, when they come home to do this, the rest of the evening is so much smoother. It's not always, but it tends to be more often than not.
I like that.
We're usually playing soccer, so he's it.
Yes.
We've tried to get him into other sports, and my wife was talking to him, and he was just like, "But mom, I'm a soccer player." He was like, I know, bud, but you can do all these other things. Like daddy was a basketball player, but he played soccer and baseball to, help him, be more well-rounded. And he's just like not having it right now. He's all into soccer.
It's like Theo stepped away from all team sports. So he's doing like risky kids, which is like parkour and ninja and little athletics. And that's it. The team sports stuff, just two bigger crowds, which he's under 18, 46 kids, one coach. It's just too many.
Yeah.
So anyway, the next one. I was stumped on it. Probably I'll go with the movie thing. I've talked about a few of the movies before, but movies is like, cause like I grew up in a cinema. Like we moved to a town called Taree from Kuta, and we had a house, and then we transitioned to a house we were buying, and there was a little bit in there that we went into, lived in a cinema. It was like bunks and stuff. This is how I remember it. We were sleeping in the cinema. So it was either we were living there or was just there overnight for one time. I don't know, but it was bunks in there. And so movies have always been like a really huge thing. It's like when I talk about like re-energizing with the dads, the big rocks are like the big needle movers. Like if you're feeling super off, super dysregulated, do the big rock to it's like a circuit breaker to snap back. And movies has still been my huge thing. And I gravitate back towards certain movies, like Secret Life of Walter Mitty being one of them, and then Pursuit of Happiness. But yet, I don't really care. Like movies in general is like, I like to watch, even the kids' movies. I just like to watch movies because it just brings me, it just sort of resets me, which is super interesting because some people are like, I can't sit still for that long. For me, it's fantastic. But going to the cinema would be my biggest one. Like in my like perfect average day thing, it's like if I could have the perfect average week, I'd go to the cinema once a week. It wouldn't really care what it was. I'd just go, be like the same time every day and just see whatever's on. And just go and watch whatever pops up. That'd be the way I would do it.
I appreciate you saying that because it's something that I've gotten away from since having kids, and they have no interest in watching a full movie for the most part. We've taken them to the theater maybe twice. It's something I love so much that I remember going to the movie theater by myself in college to watch one of the Harry Potter movies.
Yeah.
And I remember
perfect.
like,
hey everyone, I have to jump in here and apologize. I stuffed up uploading the video afterwards, and the rest of the podcast is literally Todd talking to himself, which is a shame because there was lots of good stuff, but somehow in the cloud, my recording didn't work up until this point. I wanted to cut it off because I thought about keeping it going and filling in the gaps. It would have taken a ton of time. It would have been kind of weird, but there's lots of gold nuggets that were already said, and we'll be back to our normal sessions from next week. Apologies for the stuff around. Hope you find it valuable, and fingers crossed it doesn't happen again.